in Canada?
Yeah, Idaho, well,
All right.
Canada, U.S.
All right.
So,
Can we focus on the job?
All right. So tonight's fly, like I was saying earlier, it's called Pat's Mini Craw. It's a Rio Grande fly. It's developed to fish highly vegetated ponds and stuff like that. That's why it's lightweight. And I tied on a jig hook. The original one's not. It's just I think it acts a little better. So, but yeah, I'm sure anything will hit it. Bluegill, anything. I'm sure you can catch just about anything on it. But so, all right. So first, start your thread. Okay, everybody got their thread started. All right. So the bead chain, to have enough room to put the, if you want to call it the wing on, you take about a bead distance from the bend, and that's where you want to set your eyes.
Like one bead or the whole set of
No, I
eyes?
mean like one
set,
particular bead.
one
Yeah,
bead.
about.
Okay.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be approximate. What
Yeah.
you want to do is, and like I always like to start mine, is I just set it on top and just where I want it, so it gives me a gauge, and then I just let it go, and it falls right in place.
Or just like make an X.
It's hard to get used to this other vise.
Yep.
Once I tie it on my Rizzetti. I'm too lazy to break it down every time.
so buy a second one.
This is my second one. That's what I'm saying. Oh yeah.
Second Rizzetti.
Yeah. So. So that's just a general rule for me to gauge where you want your either dumbbell eye or bead chain to start. Just cinch it down.
Maybe a little lopsided.
Probably also balance this one.
Then figure eight it, just like you would dumbbell eye. Helps to put glue on it. I didn't bring any glue tonight, but if you don't want it to turn,
I prefer to fish to tear mine up.
yeah. And bring it all the way back to right at the bend.
Joined together these two. Yeah, those are
The
chain,
chain.
bead chain. Looks like they're brass.
I just use a black one so everybody could see it a little better maybe. The gold's kind of hard to see.
Hard to get. You just plate to put in front of you, behind you. Wow.
And you can really see it, yeah. Yeah, so now take your the feather that I got, and you can use anything, the chartreuse feather. You can use anything for this, fly fur, but it's best to be something that has a little bit of motion, I think. Gives a little bit so where it spreads out. So, but what we're gonna do, don't worry about the lining up the tips. That's why I typically just cut the stem like that. And you'll just take it like this, and right past the stem, you'll just bunch it like that.
Oh, I see.
Like that. Just take it like that. Just kind of pull it back. And what you want to do is really the stem is just there to hold them all together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little neater. And just tie it in on top.
How long the total length of the tail?
We're gonna cut it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, you're gonna cut it to whatever you want.
Gotcha. So
So
So it's
really-
your tail, not your wing. That's right.
Yeah.
Make a little base of thread,
Yeah.
little hole down there.
Now I always go underneath as well, the back, just to kind of give it a little volume, if you want to call it. And this fly, we're not too much worried about bulk like most of them because we're going to wrap chenille around it, and you want it to be somewhat bulky. So I wrap this one toward the bead chain, then cut off the excess.
We're gonna add this yellow color in.
A little greenish tip.
This is the part where I always mess up. I'll leave out one material until I get to the end. For the last one I need, then I got to tear all that back apart. to make sure we get all our material in.
Did you go all the way back with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the length doesn't matter because we're gonna cut it. So after you get that on, take about, I would say about a 1/4 inch hook gap, about a 1/4 inch, and just cut it off even.
Oh, the tips of the tail?
Yeah. All that really does is really give it just a hot spot to key in on. Okay. Yeah, I may not give y'all enough rubber leg.
That's enough.
I got plenty.
There's plenty of rubber leg.
Well, we got to tie 2 on the front too, so
It's gotta be
yeah.
precise.
No
You just
precision
gotta
in this
be-
fly.
You just gotta be precise.
Yeah. So another good,
Thrifty.
yeah, and I'll give y'all some more of this, but another good way to tie, easy way to tie this in. There's all kind of different ways. I like to advance the thread up a little bit. I like to use maybe about an 1/8 inch or so, and just take it and just wrap it like that. And then
Where are you putting it?
it's on the top.
In
So-
front of the bead eyes or?
No, it's gonna be,
Right by the tail.
yeah, right by the tail.
What were they? 3 sets of legs?
So this is gonna be like
Wait,
a,
There's 2 like made like
This-
a tail legs sticking off the back.
it's gonna be
with the
kinda be
tail,
kinda like
part of the
buyouts.
tail.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna-
Right,
Remember
yeah,
that.
there's 2 in the
Like
back
right
and there's
snip.
4 in the front, right?
You're cutting this in half to do the two.
Yeah, I'm gonna give y'all some more. I didn't give y'all enough. You
Yeah,
can,
but I don't mind.
You just
I
gotta do.
just, if I cut this, am I gonna be too short in half?
I think you'll have enough.
No, you ought to have plenty.
You ought to have plenty.
I don't know how long, I don't
Yeah.
remember seeing, I need to go look and see how
So-
long your legs were.
Just doing,
So you don't like this?
So you see how I did that? Just wrap it around the thread like that.
Okay.
And what that does, it just locks it in easier. Because what we're gonna do, then we're gonna pull it back after you do that, and just bring your thread back on the top.
So move the thread
Then
over.
before you get to the back is where you want to spread them out to the side.
Evenly along that end. Now pull them. Snug, now pull down, string, line it up as hot. And then you're gonna wrap it back a little bit. You have to shorten this, so you have better control.
I'm done.
They say you tie it to the details.
it's exactly 17 degrees.
Yeah.
16 and a half.
Remember.
Alright, see if it holds.
Where's the protractor?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the way they're splayed out. Yeah, and it's like I said, this pattern, it's good. I mean, I like them up a little bit, so when you cut them, but it don't really matter. The tail kind of splits them. The tail kind of split the two. So just cut it about another 1/4 inch past that, the hook gap past it.
Cut it later.
1/4 inch from the hook gap.
Another past the tail.
Oh, you tying a second pair?
This is just the
There's gonna be
first
more
one.
at the front.
Oh.
There'll be more at the
later.
front.
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah,
more.
okay, I heard you say,
Yeah.
Now, no, I guess we're gonna do.
Fish don't care if they're even either. I mean, I think I care more than fish do.
Yeah.
Of course we do.
I don't think they do.
They don't.
But it changes the way it falls in the water, depending on how the legs are sitting.
True. Yeah. All right. So
Crawfish is always on the bottom, right?
Not when they're running away.
yeah.
Swim.
They kick
So
their
now-
tail.
Now we'll take our wire. Want to get our wire in. Then we'll make double check we got all our material before we advance forward. Right. It's my biggest mistake. So
So where are you tying the wire?
tie it on the top,
And stick it
on the
out-
bottom.
Stick,
Yeah.
Stick it out.
Yeah. Just pull it out the back
It's
because we're
supposed to
gonna.
be the start.
Yeah.
up by the eyes and just wrap it
Yep.
all around the whole shank. That'll stop it from pulling out. Or you can even wrap it all the way down the shank and back and it'll never pull out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I do with
Yeah.
the chenille.
I like to have as much weight on the bottom. I mean,
Right.
that's not a whole lot of weight, but every little bit counts. So,
All right.
all right, everybody's caught up with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the chenille, I like to take and pinch off about a little bit just so you have thread showing. I find it ties down easier and it's not bulky. So, and just tie that in, kind of the same place.
Behind the, on top of the,
Yeah, just right there, the same place. Just
Oh,
bring
wire.
it out the back.
Because you're going to wrap the chenille and then wire the chenille
Yeah,
to protect it.
yeah, just like
not too far away.
just like you would a woolly booger
If you put wire on your jibby,
I don't.
if you use that.
pretend it's the second chenille.
There you go. That'll work.
Well, no, because you tie both your chenilles in at the same time.
Sometimes I've done them. You can do it either way, but I do usually do tie them both.
Yeah,
Together.
like you know
The
what
wire
you're
will
doing.
actually wrap the chenille. You kind of wrap the wire. So yeah, you're going to kind of wrap the wire to the way you twist the chenille in order to hold the chenille together in case the
It just makes it a little more durable. I don't know if it really makes a difference, but it sounds
Doing
good.
better than me,
Yeah.
Joe,
All right.
so.
Well, that's like I always put a bunch of half hitches in my fly too as I'm working along, just in case they chew it up and maybe it'll last a
Right.
little bit longer.
I do the same thing.
I like those
Okay.
little bug eyes,
Just
and
never.
Oh, yeah.
how they
All right.
stick out.
I don't know
So
if they don't like the taste of super glue or not, but you know,
The only thing it doesn't protect too well from them dead cypress trees. That's the only thing.
that's why I use the really
Alright.
weak hooks.
all right, so now take your thread. Let's make sure we got everything. Yeah. Yep. So take your thread, just put it in front of your dumbbell eyes.
Front of the eyes?
Front of the eyes, yeah. Just get it out the way.
Or he looks cute and like a
Yeah.
fish may grab him.
A little unraveled.
Yeah. Then wrap it away from you.
Oh, wrap the chenille.
I'd say you realize both ways are away from you, right?
The big,
Yeah.
Over the top.
the big red.
I was seeing who's gonna catch that. I figured it would be Houston. Yeah, and just wrap it all the way up to tight behind the eyes. Okay.
Okay.
Like that. Then just bring your, now this is just me being a little particular. I normally pull my
Husky crawfish.
chenille toward the front and then wrap it around my eyes so it's on top.
Oh, you want it on top?
Yeah.
Well,
so if you come on top to where it's on top like this, and then I'm going to cut it short.
Guys look like.
I mean, look, because top is bottom and bottom is top right now.
Are you tying it off in front of the eyes or behind the eyes?
So we're going to cut it right at the eyes.
In front of
Okay, so you.
So this when I say top.
You want
Top
to,
of
but you want to
the
cover
bottom.
the
Years, so-
Bottom.
Yeah. So this when I say top, this is the way it's going to ride.
Yeah, I got
So
you.
it's going to ride with the hook up
And tie off in front or behind.
right at it.
Okay.
So we're going to
On
cut
the
it off
front
right
side.
at it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to add too much bulk right at that little small section.
Gotcha.
Because we still have to add the wing there.
Tie it where you think's appropriate.
All right, and that'll work too. Again, some of these are just preferences. I just find that you wrap it there, then pull it, cut it off close.
Is Red Day this weekend?
Yes.
Yes.
Tie some flies. Hey, I've been on vacation for 2 weeks. I hadn't looked
I
at
see
it.
that, man. You like living the dream over there,
Pretty
man.
good, I gotta say.
I'm over here working and sweating and all that.
Well, guess what that was involved? Wife and children.
Would that work?
no wife, no children allows
Yeah.
us to get away with some stuff.
Yeah, and you could just wrap it and clip it. Yeah, if you put a few wraps on each side, it's not gonna.
Well, you wrapped it enough, now just, you gotta get thread around it to hold it then.
Do I go
Okay, looks pretty husky there.
that?
And right there,
I'm gonna trim later.
and then right there.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna trim these later.
Or you can leave them long. The one
I
thing,
might leave 'em long.
the one thing he said, and I meant to bring the notes, and I forgot them. The one thing he said about this file, I'm going to send them out in an email next. Because it's really interesting stuff about why he ties it this way and the certain things, why the length. He said if they're too long, they'll just sit there and bite these all day and they'll never hit it.
Same thing with the jitterbee.
Right.
If the-
So
if
it's
the
all about
dadgum rubber
the
leather-
right length. It's the right lengths, you know, and he calls for hook gaps, hook
But-
gapes.
But if they're hitting dragonflies, you grease those legs, it'll sit on the top like a dragonfly too.
I don't know if this one will. It may, but
You gotta grease the legs though.
yeah.
You gotta
What do you
grease.
grease them with?
Fly grease.
All right, everybody's there, so just clip it off short.
You don't have float-on to put on to grease your flies with, Randy?
No, I do. I have 2 or 3
That you
different.
bought,
All right.
like, in-
So
yeah.
where should we be with
Thought-
our thread?
Right.
Thread in front of the B chain eyes right now.
Okay.
Okay, so turn it upright. So where the way it's going to ride with the hook gape up.
Mine.
And the reason why I use a whole, I mean, sometimes I'll tie with pull off of this, and I'll use like one feather to make 10 flies, but it's easier to show when we use a whole one like this, and I can pull it, I can tie it in, and I can pull it to the exact right length. So, all right. First off, before we do that,
I'm about to say.
Almost
can we
got
put
ahead of
I'm about to
myself.
say, don't we
The
put legs
wire.
on first?
we got the wire and the legs. Yeah.
All right, do the wire, so yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
So,
So what's next after
do the
the
wire.
so do the wire
Chenille
next.
and wire.
Pull the wire now. Do this opposite
Opposite the way you did chenille.
opposite way you did your chenille. So if we pull our chenille away from us this way, we want to go to
Towards it?
pull it toward us under the bottom.
And we're gonna tie it
3 or
off
4
on-
wraps.
Yep.
This one you want to bring up and tie it off. It's a little more durable if you make a few wraps around the front of the V chain eye. So you don't have all that bulk right there, because this wire doesn't add a lot of bulk where we're going to tie in. And once you do that, what I typically do is I'll wrap my thread around it 2 or 3 times around the wire, just so when you pull it, because if you don't, being it's opposed wrapped, it'll come off pretty easy sometimes.
Should just half inch the wire.
Too late enough for that now. I'd have done that.
I've been pretty impressed that you pulled that off.
And I'm gonna,
But did you half inch the wire?
No, just tied it off. I usually tie it and then I tie it and then I fold it over and then tie it again, so it
we need
gets
to bring
a kink in it.
do y'all have enough rubber legs? Does everybody have enough rubber legs? Y'all need more.
How many legs are we?
So we're just gonna tie 2 small ones on the front.
Okay.
So, I mean, they don't have to be inch and a half long, but it's. But if y'all need more, I got a little bit left.
On top or bottom?
So the legs, we're gonna tie. They're gonna fit right in the crevice behind your B chain eye. Okay. So
2 legs or 4 legs?
it's gonna be 2 on each side.
Are we cutting the wire?
So 4 legs.
Yeah, go ahead and wrap the wire and finish it off and cut it. So that's the, yes, it's just like Cindy's doing. So what you want to do, the reason why I say turn them like this, because you, and do the same thing. It's always easier to tie your legs around the thread, because then you have a lot more control over it. Because you can really kind of, so run your thread right behind your bead chain again. And if you look at how I can control this, how I got the two of them like that, and I put it right behind the bead chain eye, and you want it to kind of face up just about 30, 45 degrees. It doesn't matter a whole lot, but that way it's going to give it a little bit more, I guess, action.
And it'll act
just-
a little bit as you wing too.
Right. Just wrap that a few times. So can y'all see that where it's kind of, you face it up like that, it's going to pull up just a little bit. I haven't cut mine yet, but there. Then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Got it?
Wait, we're doing 2 sets of legs on each
Yeah, one on each side.
Oh.
Just one on
I
each
got
side.
this in here, I just can't get it through.
Just,
And what happened is I rebuilt my, I put two.
Right, yeah, I was about to say. Yeah, you don't have enough big enough hole in there.
We go ahead and do it on the
Well,
other
what's
side?
even worse is
Yeah,
my
just
thread
do one on-
chopped the
one on
top
each
over
side
there,
like
and
that.
now I
That's
got a
easy to
mess.
fix up.
What?
That's easy to fix. Just pull the bobbin off.
Well, but it's, I don't know where it came undone.
Yeah, but then you just straighten it out.
so what
and then-
you're going to end up with is
Pull it through.
one of them's going to ride on top of your bead chain,
Right.
one set of legs, and the other is going to kind of go back.
Sometimes it flipped off somewhere.
You can do cut it?
No, well, you could, or we can just,
Yeah.
or we can roll it up again. You're pretty far down there, Randy.
Looks like a spider now.
It is,
We
yeah.
got
It's
man,
very similar.
We gotta turn it into a crawfish.
Yeah.
It's way down there. Let's just pull the
Yeah.
handle.
That's what's so neat about watching them being tied. It looks like they go into several sessions of what animal they could be.
There it is.
No, yeah, it could be anything, yeah.
Some have the basics.
Now again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just, if you tie them in right, and they fall right above the eyes, and it just gives it just puts them in place. Okay?
How long you want these legs?
So that's where we're gonna get to next. So the legs on this fly are fairly short. So we're gonna go about a hook, a little over a hook gate length. So they're not that long,
Both sets?
both sides. Yeah. Again, doesn't have to be exact.
And both sets?
Both
the
sets.
Front and back?
You like the darker beads.
I just tied this. I thought everybody could see it better, but it doesn't. I don't think it matters.
Does it? Well, I know it when that sun hits that
That gold
shiny
bead.
on the water, boy.
Thanks.
On certain flies, it does definitely. I don't know if this one really
Right,
makes
so
it.
the rubber
Wait,
legs.
It
go-
depends.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes black is
Okay,
even
so
better.
Or you can do
Talking
them,
about
if-
Randy's little jigger
if you
bead
use
Oh,
like
yeah.
just
for years.
one, right, tied that way, you can kind of,
You really can
You have it
zoom
behind the
into it
beam
with that
or on
bright.
top?
a
Brass
top and on
bead.
this, but like I said, you can do them like this on each side. I just did them all as one piece.
So you see how that kind of, if you once you cut them, now they kind of, you give them more of a 3-dimensional type fly. They're gonna go all over the place.
It's got little horns up there.
Yeah. All right. So after we're done with that, everybody got the.
Almost. I had a thread issue.
Get one for you here.
And then you turned it upside down.
Yeah. So now we'll go right the way it's gonna ride, which is the hook up now. So now we're gonna, if everybody's there, now we're gonna put the wing on the last piece. So kind of like we did the back feather, the same way this one will pull everything forward on the feathers. And like to tie it in a little bit longer, because what we're going to do is we're going to wrap it a few times and we're just going to pull it to the right length. And what the right length is, you want to be right where it covers the hook point. Not very long.
So
Or you can go a little longer if you want, but yeah, like I said, I normally take about this much, because the beauty of using a feather like this is we can pull it out
right.
to get it to the right length. So it's a little easier to handle. So
And you put it, you tie it in ahead of the bead eyes.
right in front of the bead chain. So just put 2 or 3 wraps on it.
Oh, that's one.
Okay. Now this one's a lot here, but that's where we're going to pull it. Tie like 2 or 3.
And you want the tip of the feather to be touching the tip of the hook.
It could go a little bit past it. So if you look at this one I tied a little bit further. I think his is a little more. The one he ties a little bit more. I just tied a little bit past it.
Okay, so like that.
Yeah. And all it does is it's designed not to be that bulky of a fly. It's just a slight action. It's a little hard on the 60-degree versus the 90, where it kind of stops it. But
Is this
try
the
to-
last thing?
This is the last thing right here. This is it. And what that wing is going to do is it's going to go right between the 2 legs that are pointing up like horns. As we earlier. So just clip it off short. Don't cut your thread.
Don't worry about it.
You're going the wrong way.
I didn't cut it. It broke.
I got it.
Official military gun.
I can't tell you how many times I've done it.
What's that? Cut and thread?
Doing like this, and I'll cut my thread.
Cut my thread, break my thread.
That's
Or
mine.
that.
I broke mine.
Okay. Yeah. It takes a little get used to on these 60-degree bends because that thread wants to ride up.
Yeah. So don't cut your thread because. I'll put it back on there. So what are we gonna? Don't cut the thread because what?
All right.
It'll come untied.
Yeah, you just pull it back and pull your thread. Just wrap it. Put a nice little head right up against the bead chain, just so it kind of flares back a little bit.
Oh, you want to thicken it up right before the bead chain.
Yeah. Just if you do that, if you pull it right behind that bead chain, you have a little bulk there. That was the whole point of putting that little piece of chenille right there.
Right.
Is it gives it like a ramp for it to sit up. Now once it gets in the water, but it's going to go all over the place. But for this purpose, it's going to stick up. It's going to more just stand straight up. And I didn't do a very good job on the head of it. And whip finish, and that's it.